What's up, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I wanted to break down what's happening with Tesla SPY, Nvidia, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'm going to break down a very big probe that's been opening for Tesla and what's happening with the economic calendar moving forward. But just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire community as a whole. Anyways, as far as Tesla is going, just know that we're technically on a downtrend so far. Tesla pumped a little bit above our 50 EMA yesterday, hitting resistance at 425. And I warned everyone that even though Tesla saw this little dip, look for a little pop and then possibly a dip lower as the most likely possible move. And that's what happened to Tesla so far. We did push just a little bit, coming a little bit short of my target. And now Tesla's starting to dip because of some negative news. There's this news right over here that's come out that the U.S. National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, also known as the NHTSA, they said that they have opened a probe into about 2.6 million Tesla vehicles after reports of some crashes may be linked to the actually Smart Summon driverless feature. Now, it's not a guarantee that that's what caused it or anything like that, but there are some pieces of evidence that they claim suggest that the crashes may be linked to them. So they're going to be investigating, all these different vehicles. They also mentioned that they have received at least more than one complaint alleging that the crash has been there have been crashes essentially while the features have been used essentially, and that's something very important. On top of this, there's also some news that's saying that the Tesla vehicles involved in the crash failed to detect posts or parked vehicles when they were operating the actually Smart Summon feature. And the ODI, right, they're also aware of multiple crash allegations into both the Smart Summon and actually Smart Summon features where the users had too little reaction time to avoid the crash, either with the available line of sight of releasing the phone app button, which stops the vehicle's movement. So very interesting stuff, at least so far. If anything, I hope that with these new features that are being used by the Teslas, I hope that they are as safe as possible. So we'll see what ends up coming out of this investigation. But this is not the best of news. The NHTSA is always investigating Tesla, checking out things about how their technologies are looking. I'm always going to say the same thing, and that is the fact that I'm very excited for what this technology is going to bring for the longer term. For the short term, it is not perfect. There's going to be, instances where FSD is not perfect. There could be accidents and factors like that. But once again, Tesla's working on it, and I really hope for the best nonetheless. So keep that in mind. This is a little bit more negative news that's come out. So we'll see what these investigations lead to. As far as our data goes for the day, just know that at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, this is 30 minutes after the stock market opens, we have the ISM Services PMI report, not to mention the JOLTS job openings, then the ISM Services business activity, employment, new orders, and prices. So look for some volatility once this data comes out, especially for the services sector, which is very key for our economy. We'll see if this leads the market to pull back or not. So look for a big move at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then besides that, there's nothing too significant coming out for earnings. Most earnings are quite minor. With that being said, what do I see for Tesla stock? Well, you want to see Tesla reclaim the 410 area to push for 416. If we can't reclaim that, we're looking for support around this 402 zone. If that fails us, we're going to be at risk of coming back down towards 394, back down to where the support is at this trend line. So this trend line takes us to about the 385 area. That's also previous resistance becoming support. If we lose that, then Tesla will dump a lot more. So make sure you watch those supports. I think that Tesla has a little bit of weakness compared to the market, at least during this pre-market session. We do tend to see a big surge in volume when we open, so there might be a little pop coming, and look for more volatility at 10 a.m. But nonetheless, we're on a downtrend, and the odds do favor more downside looking at this chart. So it is looking a little bit weaker. We'll be watching to see how well we hold in the lower 400s and what the move ends up being. So please keep that in mind. For others out there, we have SPY. Now, SPY is trying to bounce for now, but don't forget we have this trend line of resistance at this 597 area. If we break past 598, we're looking for an attempt to get back up to 600, then 602. If we break 602, we could turn more bullish despite the head and shoulders. We could try to invalidate this if 602 breaks. If we can't break 602, if we push and come short, then we're going to be looking for a rejection. The chart could go either way, but I do want to say that there's going to be tough resistance very close to 597 as we approach this trend line of resistance. And yesterday we hit 599 only to reject. So we'll see if we get some kind of rejection or not. Do we reject off 597? And we have this big gap to fill around 592, so just be very careful with SPY. It is looking like it's going to come down to fill that gap. Unless we break past 602, then we could turn a lot more bullish. So look for an attempt to push upon open to this 597 area or above. If you reject here, we're looking for that gap below to fill. So please keep that in mind. For Nvidia, we look a bit more bullish. I was saying this yesterday, it's going to likely continue to push. We're approaching these new highs. We have to see if we could hold above 152. If we do, we could get closer to 155. So overall, it looks a bit more bullish to me. Doing a fantastic job nonetheless. For Bitcoin, we pumped very nicely to put 102,500. I said we had to break that to 104,000. We came short. So this might retest 99,724. We'll see if we bounce off that. If not, 98,000. So look for 99,725 to be tested. We'll see if we bounce off that. If not, it'll be 98,000. So just watch those levels for a small dip, and we'll see if we get that bounce. For NQ, it's the same setup. We're making lower highs, but we need to see if we could hold above this trend line. If we hold above this, we're looking for a break of 21,800. If that breaks, we're looking for 22,000 plus. If we reject off 21,800, we could be tipping back down towards 21,594. So we'll see which way this goes. As of right now, we're shuffling up here, so it could go either way. There might be a dip to about 21,600 in all honesty, because of the fact that we're shuffling here. We're not doing the best of jobs at kind of breaking out. So it might shuffle, dip a bit, and we'll see if we get a bounce, but look for a little bit of a dip before it attempts some kind of bounce. On the QQQ, we're holding above 525 very nicely, but don't forget that we still have that gap at 518. If we lose 523, I'll be looking for 520, then 518. As long as you hold above this trend, we could try to bounce for 528 all over again. We might push a little bit when we open towards like 527, but just be careful to see if we hold above the trend line. If we push a bit and we reject and lose the trend line, we're looking for that gap fill. If we hold above it, we could try to bounce. So watch this trend line just to see if we hold. We're kind of shuffling during the pre-market, sort of waiting for the data. Apple's testing 241 as our main support, our 200 EMA. If we hold this, we could attempt to rebound for 245. So this could help the market bounce just a bit. Apple looks like it has some potential. If we lose 241, we could be tipping, but I see potential in this nonetheless. For the Russell, we look a bit more bullish. We're trying to hold above 225. As long as this holds, we're looking for an attempt for 227. For a few more, we have Coinbase. We could end up dipping to about 276 before it tries to bounce. It's going to be a small dip before it attempts some kind of rebound. Amzn at resistance at 228. If we break that, we're looking for 230. If we don't hold this, we could be dipping for 225. Might be a dip before it attempts a rebound, so give this some time to develop. For Meta hit this resistance around the 630 area. Make sure you watch these very, very key levels. We'll be watching to see if 628 holds. If this bounces, we're looking for the 630s. This formed a very, very nice cup here, but I think that's we're in a chop zone between 624 and about 634. So we're going to likely just chop around in that range for now. We're waiting to see how it reacts to data, so it's range bound. Microsoft looks a little bit more bullish if we could break past 430. If not, we have a gap fill around 424. It does look like it's going to test 430 plus to 432. Same thing with Google. I might try to push for 200, so we'll see if it rejects off that or not. With that being said, I want to thank you all so much for listening. So please have a good rest of your day, guys. The market's attempting a small rebound, but Tesla's looking relatively weak just to start things off. So make sure you watch your levels just to see if Tesla holds up, and just know there is the risk of a little bit more downside looking at the chart for now. Get ready for high volatility at 10 a.m. And with that being said, I thank you all so much for listening. Have a good rest of your guys' days, and I'll be back very soon with another update in just a couple of hours. Thank you, and peace out.